Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video is prenatal yoga for the third trimester, specifically designed to get your body ready for labor. We're gonna do lots of good, juicy, full body stretches, but especially spending lots of time in the hips, in the lower body, working on the psoas, opening up the pelvis, finding a sense of groundedness in the pelvic floor, and also learning how to breathe deeply and calm yourself down and connect to your breath and your baby, which will help you be calm and grounded on your birthing day, no matter how your birth unfolds. These are tools that you need in your arsenal and tools that you need to be practicing now that you're in your third trimester. If you happen to have a yoga block or two, go ahead and grab them because they will enhance your practice and help your body just to really get in it and feel even better. If you don't have them, that's fine. You can do without. Go ahead and get down on your mat and let's get started. So if you have a block, go ahead and grab it and just put it underneath your hips. We're gonna sit up on the yoga block, shift around, and you can sit so that the block is underneath your sits bones. You'll feel either one of your sits bones on the outer edges of the block. The block is in that wide orientation. If it feels good, you can sit this way with your knees bent, wrapped behind you, or if you prefer, you can bring the legs out in front and maybe fold them in front. Sit upright and tall. Allow your eyes to close just for a moment if that feels okay for you. We'll take a big inhale in. If you're not congested, you can breathe in through your nose. Otherwise, take a big inhale through your mouth. Exhale fully and completely. One more big breath in. Blink those eyes open. We're gonna start with just some shoulder rolls. We're gonna alternate here. So this whole practice is designed for your body. So don't think about what the shapes look like in my body. Think about how they feel in yours. When I do these shoulder rolls and they alternate like this, I like to just, really loosen them up. Bring some organic movement in, kind of moves all the way through my thoracic spine. Moving through the shoulders, opening up, finding some movement in the body. Let that motion go. If at any point in your practice you want to rearrange your legs or change the way you're sitting, feel free to do so. So for this next one, I'm going to go ahead and wrap my heels back around the sides of my blocks, just to sit up in this kind of hero pose. Again, sitting on that block. Go ahead and bring your hands behind your lower back and interlace your hands. I'll show you what that looks like. Just the fingers stacked on top of each other. And then gently straighten your arms, pull your hands down towards the ground. And notice how that gently pulls your shoulders down away from your ears. So extending those arms down, reaching your fingertips down towards the ground. And maybe tip your chin down towards your chest. Find more of a stretch in that lower, in the back of your neck. And roll your right ear up over that right shoulder. You're really gonna feel this in the left shoulder and the left side of your neck here. Roll your head back down towards center. Left ear up over left shoulder. And so moving in this way, move at your own pace. And as we start with these simple motions, these simple movements, use these as an opportunity to arrive fully on your mat. So your body's already there, but invite your mind, all your thoughts, to be here in this present moment. Be fully in your body. All of the things and the worries and the to-dos, etc., that are floating around in your head are not things you can address at this very moment when you're folded up like a pretzel on your yoga mat. So let those things just wait outside and let this time be just for you. Okay, and as you're ready, release your hands down, maybe shake them out if that feels good. Rise up off of your block, set your block just off to the side, and go ahead and sit on your hips with both of your legs off to the left side. So you can maybe unstack the legs here. I like to bring that right shin more or less parallel with the front edge of my mat, and the left knee bends, the left foot just kind of wraps around toward that left hip. Take a big inhale, sweep that left arm up towards the sky in this diagonal shape. Exhale, bring it back down. Big inhale. Expand through your belly, expand through your side ribs on that breath. Let that breath inflate and grow. On this next round, if it feels good, you can lift those hips up towards the sky, pressing into that grounded hand. Extending that lengthening all the way through the left side body, from the left fingertips all the way out through that left knee. You're really gonna feel this in the front of your leg, in your hip, in your quad, maybe even in that psoas. Bring that left hand down, reach that right arm up towards the sky. Both hips are still grounded down, and have a tip over toward the left. Now grounding in that right hip, reaching out through that whole right side of the body and breathing here. Notice on each breath, maybe you feel a little bit more of a stretch in the right side body, especially in those intercostal muscles between your ribs. Let's just stretch the other way just for good measure. Sweep both of those legs around. We're just going to switch to the other side. So the left shin comes more or less parallel with the front edge of that mat. You're on both of your hips here. And that right leg just kind of wraps around off to the side. Reach that right arm up on a big breath in. Again, moving slow and mindfully. Notice what you feel and where you feel it. That might be a physical sensation, a stretching, a sense of, ooh, wow, that area really was tight. I didn't even realize I had a muscle there. Or it could be emotional. Sometimes when we move through these stretches, we kind of access different layers of holding and tension that we're gripping onto in our body. A sense of fear, a sense of control, whatever that may be, just kind of be aware of what comes along. On the next one, let's reach those hips up towards the sky into that full mermaid stretch. Big breathing in here. If you've practiced yoga before, you'll hear lots of, inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. But the reality is, pregnancy usually makes us pretty stuffy. So feel free to breathe in and out of your mouth if that feels good. Whatever helps support you to get a full, deep breath. That's really all that matters. Big breath in. And then we're gonna plant that right hand down. Let's reach the left arm up. That left hip stays grounded as we reach up and over. Nice big side bend here. One more big breath in. Let's just counter stretch, reaching that right arm towards the left. So from here, use your hands just to shimmy your way back onto your mat a bit. So you're sitting on those sits bones, the bony bits at the bottom of your bum that you can kind of feel if you move a little flesh out of the way. And then plant those feet to the ground, as wide as your yoga mat or as wide as feels good in your body. I like to spin my fingertips towards my hips, but you do whatever feels good in your wrists here. And then we're gonna windshield wiper those legs. So both knees towards the right, both knees towards the left. Starting to warm up the hips here. Move as slow or as fast as what feels good in your body. And as you know by now, your body changes day to day in pregnancy, so what feels good today might feel different tomorrow. It's all just an invitation to be present and remain present. Okay, so from here, we're gonna climb around to hands and knees. Now, if you have 2 yoga blocks handy, go ahead and grab them and bring them into your hands. Put them on the tallest setting. That's how I like to use them here. And bring your hands to the tops of your blocks. So I like to think of the blocks as just bringing the floor a little higher or a little closer to you. I like to use the blocks here, especially very pregnant, because it just creates a lot more space for my upper body. I don't feel so tight and crunched, but I have a lot more space to breathe here. We're gonna start swaying those hips side to side. Again, if you don't have your blocks, you can certainly just bring your hands down to the floor. That will work well as well. But hips swaying side to side here. And let that swaying motion, imagine you're a cat or a dog wagging your tail and you're really having a great day. So that wagging motion is moving all the way through your spine, loosening things up. The shoulders can get in on the action, your knee, or your neck, your head. And then steady that motion. Now from here, we're gonna make some big circles. So imagine with your tailbone, you can draw a big circle. So tuck the pelvis under, reach the hips to the right, reach them back up towards the sky and then to the left. Big circles here, articulating with your pelvis. And let's reverse direction. I did 3 or 4 in one way. Let's do 3 or 4 the other way. This is a good way to start to warm up that lower back and find a little lengthening in the lumbar spine, where, as you probably know, I'm sure, you carry a lot of tightness and tension and just extra weight during pregnancy. So it feels good to spend some time loving on those muscles. Okay, so bring your spine back to a neutral shape, nice and long from the tailbone out through the crown of the head. Again, if you have those blocks, they're just underneath your shoulders, like an extension of your hands, like stilts for your hands. And now we're gonna spend some time just doing some belly breathing. So on your inhale, soften through your belly. And as you exhale, gently draw your navel and draw your belly up toward your spine like you're giving your baby a hug in. So you're just using those abdominal muscles here, nice and strong. Soften. And as you exhale, draw in. Let's do 2 more. And release. From here, we're gonna tip the tailbone under, round through the spine, push your hands down into those blocks or into the ground, and find a little space between your shoulder blades. So the space here behind your heart. When you're ready, your next breath can bring you back to a neutral spine. Your next exhale rounds in the spine. Press those palms down. Find some lengthening in the lower back here. And then returning to neutral. Tuck the tailbone under, lengthen the lower back. Really press those palms down. Nice release behind those shoulders. Now, go ahead and set those blocks off to the side if you're using them. Bring your hands down to the ground and then down to your elbows. So right now your knees are about underneath your hips or maybe a bit wider. We're gonna swing just the feet so they're wider than your yoga mat. They're kind of on the outer edges of your yoga mat. So if you look down at your legs, your feet are wider than your knees here. This is one of our pelvic floor stretches. So with your hands down on the ground, your palms, your forearms to support you, we're gonna lean back and forward. Now, if you need to make your knees wider to accommodate your belly, do that. We don't want to be like smushing our belly, of course. So make the knees wider and just make sure the feet are a little wider than the knees. And that helps to internally rotate your femurs and really stretch into the pelvic floor as you rock back and forward. So bring your awareness to your pelvic floor, which you can kind of think of as a diamond-shaped sort of group of muscles that is connected by your sits bones on the left and right, your pubic bone in the front, and your tailbone in the back. If it helps to have, a bit of a visual. Okay. And from here, you can keep the feet as they are or feel free to adjust a bit if you'd like. We're gonna lower down into our puppy pose and more or less hold this stretch. If you have a block, you can bring it underneath your forehead, or of course, you can just come all the way down to the ground. Again, maybe the feet are a bit wider than the knees here. And as you breathe, just notice your pelvic floor muscles. On that inhale, do you feel a bit of an expansion? And as you exhale, maybe a bit of a softening or release. Stay here in this stretch as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come out of it, simply rise back up to those palms, bring them underneath your shoulders, and let's bring those feet and knees in underneath the hips. Now that created some tension in my shoulders, so let's reach those hips back toward the heels and just take some shoulder rolls here to release any tension that built up when we were kind of holding ourselves there. Okay, so we are gonna make our way up to a standing posture now. Move as slowly as you'd like. In pregnancy, we have extra blood flow and lots of relaxin, which tends to make us a little bit lightheaded. So just move slowly and mindfully, and then make your way to face the wide edge of your mat. And make your feet parallel to one another so that all 10 toes are pointing forward. Bring your hands to your hips. We're gonna take some really big, juicy hip circles here. You're gonna feel this in your hamstrings. You're gonna feel this starting in your psoas here and in your hips as well. Think about keeping the spine nice and long. Big circles. As you're ready, let's reverse direction. Letting that big, strong breath support you, keeping you grounded. Let the effort, let the tension escape your body through your breath. Okay, and then from here, bending from your hip crease, so not rounding in the spine, but keeping the spine long and bending forward from the hip crease. We're gonna lean forward, reach your hands down to the ground, shift back. Maybe you wanna use a block here in any height, feel free to do that. Again, those 10 toes are still pointing forward. And now you can let your back relax, release your spine. You can sort of ragdoll your upper body side to side. Okay, when you're ready, I'm gonna move that block off to the side. Heel toe your feet in so that they're a bit closer together, still wider than your hips. And go ahead and lower yourself down into this low, deep squat. Feel free to adjust your feet to any width that feels good and right in your body. And the toes do point out this time at like a 45-degree angle, so they're no longer parallel. Your knees and your toes are always tracking in the same direction as one another. And in this squat, I love to just shift side to side. Move in a way that feels really good in your body. Later on, we'll kind of hold a supported squat, a deep squat like this, but for now we're moving through it. Stretching, finding some opening, finding some space, moving in a way that feels good in your body. Maybe you even roll to the outer edge of your foot, or you can kind of open up in the chest here. Really getting into those hips. Feeling so good, right? Okay, so go ahead and bring those knees underneath of you. Turn to be parallel with that long edge of your mat. All right, so again, if you have those blocks, go ahead and bring them in your hands, nice and tall and upright. Let's start with the right leg. So swing that right leg around till it's maybe wider than your mat. We're moving up to a lunge shape. Now we want to have a wide base of support here, so your feet don't need to be in line with your hips. They can be wider, whatever feels supportive to you. Your hands are on the inside of that right leg. Go ahead and lower yourself down, shifting into that low lunge here. So we're finding a nice deep psoas stretch. Notice if you're sort of dumping in your shoulders and like really holding your body up with your arms, think about letting your legs do a bit more of the work. Really grounding the feet down, lifting the heart space up towards the sky. Breathing here. And now shift your hips back a bit just so you're more upright. And you have a 90-degree angle in this front leg. So instead of leaning forward in the hips, we're a bit more upright here, squared off. You can bring your right hand to the top of your right leg for support. Sweep the left arm up towards the sky, really reach it up, and then tip the left hand a bit toward the right. We're finding a lot of length in the front of the left side of the body here. So finding in that deep psoas, a nice stretch. All right, and then release back down. Bring your hands back to the blocks if you're using them. Once again, that foot, right foot, comes back to where we started on the outside of that mat. This time we're gonna extend that right leg long, and you can walk the blocks back in closer to your torso here in your runner's stretch. So you've got a nice long leg in the front. The right knee is straight. Finding a nice stretch in the hamstring, in the calf muscle. If you're not really feeling much, instead of letting that right foot kind of be floppy, flex that right foot. Think about pointing the toes toward your right knee, and that's really going to turn on those muscles in the back of your right leg. Okay, and then from here, we're just gonna heel to that right leg out to the right side. So now, I'll just show you. The right foot is parallel with the left knee. Hands to the blocks again. We're gonna shift back and forward. Again, in the pelvic floor, in the hamstring. Okay, when you're ready, bring that knee back underneath your hips. Let's just sway the hips side to side or hip circle, whatever feels good in your body to release any tension that built up just now with all that efforting we were doing, holding our bodies in those shapes. Okay, so we're gonna do that sequence on the left side now, or whichever side you didn't do last time. So we'll start by sweeping that left foot around, a little wider than your yoga mat. The hands are inside of the left leg, so you've got lots of room for your belly here. We're gonna start by leaning forward into that low lunge shape. So those hips are shifted forward. Again, that heart space is lifted. Try not to kind of just dump in the lower body or the shoulders, but really nice and strong and even effort throughout your musculature. Letting your breath support you. I always like to say to, get used to the sound of your own breath, the sound that your body makes when you're releasing tension and releasing effort. Let's go ahead and rise up into that squared off lunge shape. We'll reach the right arm up and over in that psoas stretch. So what I was saying is, I like to equate it to when you stub your toe. What you do is like, usually yelp, ow, 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 ow. And it helps to release that pain and release that sensation out of your body. You, what is the word I'm looking for? Pregnancy brain, I tell you. By releasing that sound, you help to release tension, you vocalize. And so that same strategy works during labor, during contractions. So think about getting used to the sound of your own body, releasing effort, releasing tension. Oh, where are we headed? We're headed to our runner's stretch. We're gonna keep that leg nice and straight here. Again, actively flexing that left foot, pulling those toes to point toward your knee, and then reaching the heart space down towards the ground. Try to resist the urge to collapse in the spine here. Keep it long. Okay, as you're ready, those hands or blocks will come underneath for support. That left leg comes out to the left side now, so the left heel is roughly in line with the right knee. And shift the hips back and forward. Back. And let's do one more. Okay, bring that knee back under. Again, just releasing any tension that built up, move in any way that feels good in your body. And then I'm just gonna set the blocks off to the side. Come to be seated on your hips. Swing those legs around out in front of you. And we're gonna extend that left leg long. Go ahead and bend the right knee and bring that right foot around toward your hip. You can roll onto that left hip a bit, lower yourself down. So we're moving to this kind of runner's quad stretch. Really, we're looking for the psoas here, but we got to get into it. So tucking that foot under and leaning back in a way that feels comfortable. So maybe this stretch for you, you've got yourself propped up on your hands, that's totally fine. Maybe your elbows are accessible. Really looking for a sensation in the front of this right leg. So from here, we're just gonna slowly, easily move your way over onto your left hip. That left leg stays extended, and you can support your head here if you'd like, or you can lay all the way down. We're gonna reach for the right foot with our right hand. Flex the foot, so you're trying to grab more or less in your ankle space, and gently drawing that ankle and foot toward your right hip. So again, looking for that quad stretch. If it feels okay, you can open up in the hip a bit more. Really feeling in for that psoas. And let's release. I'm gonna do that same sequence on the other side. So make your way back up. We'll start with the right leg long here. Tuck that left foot around. Maybe it's the hands that you rest on. Maybe it's your forearms and your elbows. Bringing your awareness back to your body. Notice if your thoughts have kind of wandered off of your mat. Inviting them back into this space and into this moment. So we'll do that same stretch on the other side. I'm gonna roll away from the camera so you can see me. On my right hip, I'll lower all the way down. Maybe I'll support my head here. Bending in that left knee, grabbing for the left ankle, and gently drawing the foot back. But instead of yanking the foot toward the hip, think about opening the hip back a bit away from your chest. So you're sort of extending in the hip joint. Releasing that foot. Coming back up to your hips. Extend both legs long. Bend that right knee, cross the right ankle just above the left knee, and then slide that left foot up so you find your figure 4 shape here. Lots of room for the belly in between your thigh bones. But maybe you would like to rock side to side, even putting a little pressure on that right glute. I like to find a bit of a myofascial release here. So pressing that fascia down as if you were foam rolling, if you've ever foam rolled before. Get that same kind of sensation here. And like the fleshy part of your right bum cheek. Okay, and stack your legs. Let's start the same way we did last time. Maybe shake them out in between. That left ankle stacks above your right knee, so closer to your hips, so that when you bend your knee, you've got that figure 4. Again, you can hold it here or you can rock side to side. I find that in pregnancy and in prenatal yoga, Long held static stretches just don't feel good. Our bodies need movement. There's a lot of energy coursing through our bodies when we're pregnant. And I don't know, man, the yoga just has a lot more movement in it, doesn't it? It's not a whole lot of holding and stillness. But you do you. If it feels better to hold it steady, by all means. Okay, we're gonna release those legs long. Once again, we'll just shake them out. And if you have your block here, we're gonna set up for our sort of final-ish few moments. So if you have a block, or even better, if you have two, you're gonna sit up on your blocks, on your sits bones. We're moving into this deep squat shape. If you do not have blocks, you are welcome to hold this shape if that's comfortable for you. If that's not, you can also just sit in any way that feels good in your body. But I've got two blocks and I would like to take advantage of them. I'm gonna sit up nice and tall. So the blocks are in that wide, low, flat shape, stacked, and my sits bones sort of on either edge of them. Feet are nice and wide and grounded. Shift and adjust your body until you find a posture that feels good and grounding. I like to kind of bring my elbows to my knees and my hands towards one another to give them something to rest on. It kind of creates this closes this sort of circle. And just simply begin by noticing your breath. Allowing your breath and your heart rate to come back down. And notice any areas in your body where you are holding tightness or tension. Release those places. Maybe it's the shoulders, maybe it's the lower back. As if you could send your breath to those places. On your next big inhale and exhale, send some softening there. And if it feels okay for you, bring your hands to your belly. Or maybe one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And notice what you feel. Maybe you feel your baby wiggling or kicking. Or maybe all that motion and yoga has lulled your baby off to sleep. Take a moment to send some gratitude to your body, no matter what this journey has looked like for you. The ups and downs, the hard days, the hard moments, the joyful moments, all of it belongs. All of it is part of your experience. In your last weeks of pregnancy, try to spend some time each day getting in your body, getting present in your body and connecting, being fully present. Noticing whatever is there for you that day. ready, you can blink your eyes open. Make your way off of your blocks if you're using them, and onto your left hip. Lower yourself down onto your left side. If you have your blocks, you might as well use them. Maybe one as a pillow and one between the shins to support your hips. And in this final relaxation pose, allow yourself to just let go. No more holding or gripping or trying or efforting. Simply be. Stay here as long as you would like. Letting your practice just soak in. When you're ready, you can use your hands to just press the ground away, rising up to a comfortable, easy seat. I wish you a beautiful pregnancy journey in all of its hard moments and good moments. And if you are new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe. I love to support you through your journey and all that it holds. My name is Melissa. I hope you have a beautiful day.